Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Tech-Tonic, the podcast.
And today we'll be covering stories that happened in tech. Some of them affecting them, and some of them are affecting the world at large.
To start off, there's a story that I saw like during the week about NetOne, where it's being said NetOne was actually hacked. The hackers managed to get away with something like over 1 million RTGs, actually over 1 million ZIG. The one thing that I want to know from you, Kingsley, I think I have a misconception or a wrong understanding of the whole word of hacking within myself. Can you try to explain to me what's your take on the word hacking?
Quick Google.
Yeah.
Hacking is the act of identifying and then exploiting weaknesses in a computer system or network. That is usually to gain unauthorized access. So basically, it's exploiting weaknesses in computer systems. That's hacking, according to Google.
Okay.
To Kaspersky.
So that means when someone actually sees a vulnerability in your system and they decide to utilize it for their own benefit, or we can say for malicious intent, that's hacking, right?
Yeah, actually.
So we can safely say NetOne was hacked.
Yeah, I think in that context, yes, it was exploited.
That's tricky. So that means, is our money safe with institutions that allows or that is good vulnerabilities that hackers can use?
I think that every organization has vulnerabilities, and in spite of them having those vulnerabilities, they do take measures to protect themselves against this malicious access of data, right? And the question that you asked is that, are we safe? Usually companies have insurance policies that basically protect consumers. So for example, in this NetOne hack, obviously they lost a lot of money. It's 1 million ZIG. It's quite a sizable sum of USD dollars, but that doesn't affect the consumers. Even if you had money in your One Money wallet, you would not be affected, unless if it's a major thing that probably the entire company is bankrupt. But I think as consumers, you are mostly safe from this. The good thing is it was just money. It wasn't data or anything that was leaked.
That's true.
And from what I understand, I think they managed to close the loophole. So,
but the one other thing that amused me a little bit is the number of times the attackers in brackets managed to transact. It was 545 times, and no one realized it. And actually in the article it said the NetOne account actually was exhausted. They actually realized after the account was
exhausted,
cleaned, when it was cleaned 545 times, and no one actually realized that something malicious is happening.
So I think the case is that probably there were normal looking transactions, and no one was paying attention. It seemed like normal behavior at first, but I think for other MNOs, it's a lesson that they can learn from this, because we have to learn from exploitations. You don't have to experience these things to
that's true.
make improvements.
That's true.
Yeah.
So I think as a country, I think we need to address that whole thing, and maybe educate the maybe all these companies on ways to protect their systems in some kind of way. Because for me, from a customer standpoint, when you hear that 1 million his zig was transferred and the transaction was done 545 times and they couldn't even realize it. From a layman point of view, I think when something is malicious, you should maybe try to reduce the extent at which it will affect the system. But if you let it go to 545 times, I start questioning the whole the whole security thing about the company.
Yeah, that's true. I think in terms of the consumers, obviously it will be worrying, like I mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
But consumers are usually protected they're protected usually, and their funds are usually safe. And hopefully they did learn something from this, because 1 million is a lot of money.
And the lucky part, if it was just money, what if it was our data?
Yeah, if it was data, then it would be something else, or even user numbers, user phone numbers.
Imagine.
But at least, luckily, I heard that the perpetrators were apprehended. So
yeah, but if it was personal data, they could still apprehend the perpetrator, but the data will probably be out there.
yeah,
And
true.
we don't know what people end up using the data. Anyway, that's on that story. Then apparently there's another story that I saw when our Zimbabwean government is actually about to introduce an $80 million smart traffic light system. So from what I understand, this whole system will actually be installed on intersections. So it will be more like the traffic light system has been upgraded to more of a smart traffic light system, where it will remove a number of traffic officers on intersections. It will deal with
Does it come with solar panels?
that's another thing. That's another thing. Because to be honest, for a smart traffic light system to work, we have to have constant supply of electricity.
Yes.
That's one thing that I know.
Yes.
And looking at the situation in Zimbabwe, I don't think it's sufficient.
Yeah, so there are numerous major roads right now that they do not have functioning traffic lights because there's no power. So I'd want to know how this system would work and how it would affect Zimbabwe's unique challenges.
Of course, one thing that I know is the whole traffic situation in Zimbabwe is a mess. Like, it's not a secret to anyone.
Yes. True.
Even with those traffic officers at the intersection, sometimes they still turn out to be mess.
Yes.
Right? So the first thing is probably the road network is not sufficient enough to support the number of the cars that are actually, let's say, for a particular city in Harare, right?
But well, I can make this argument and say that European countries, right, they have more people.
Yeah.
Right, they have more people and more cars than Zimbabwe has.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
they manage their traffic particularly better than what we do this side. So I think can Zimbabwe's problem be fixed by having a smart traffic system, or our problems are infrastructural? Like, we have to fix infrastructural problems and then start resorting to technology, because I've seen this thing where people think that technology is that silver bullet that's going to fix everything. When you don't have a functioning road, how do you expect a smart traffic system to solve your problems when the road is non-functioning, when the road is full of potholes?
When you say okay, I was about to ask, when you say when the road is not functioning, is it a matter of the state of the road being dilapidated?
Yes, because like, again, these things are a network. These things, they work together. They function together.
Yeah, that's true.
A traffic light, for you to have a traffic light, you need to have a road. Right? These roads need to have proper markings, right? We need to have electricity. I think as Zimbabwe, right, we need to address the infrastructural aspect of things, and then move to add in technology to assist. Because if you plunge in technology into these systems right now, let's say there's a power cut at 5 p.m.
Yeah.
That's going to be a traffic jam. You're going to
Yeah,
need
that's
a traffic.
guaranteed.
Yes, you need a traffic control officer there to make traffic move again.
Yeah.
So it's that, and also the drivers in Zimbabwe. Drivers in Zimbabwe are a problem. Exactly, the drivers.
Yeah.
You have the combi drivers, you have the bus drivers, you have the shika cars, and all of those. How does the traffic system? It's not going to work when we have bad actors in the system. Obviously, I am for technology, and I'd want technology to work.
Yeah, that's true.
But technology doesn't work when the infrastructure is lacking. When the infrastructure is lackluster, fix the infrastructure first and then implement.
So probably that whole situation maybe will start considering that, like what we're seeing right now. It seems like the government is actually always prey to rehabilitate a number of roads in Zimbabwe, right?
Mm-hmm.
And after probably the rehabilitation, and this actually the whole rehabilitation system, I think, will actually come with the rehabilitation of the traffic light system, right? And after the whole traffic light system is up to date, they probably maybe bring the smart traffic light system, and that whole thing was from my thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take away the bad part of the roads. The road have been probably the roads will be repaired, right? And then they bring out the system, right?
Yes.
The system will actually, it might not look this from a perspective of where it will just solve the congestions, like the congestion within the roads, but it will actually bring in new other benefits. For example, where there was a traffic officer, there is now a system. Can you bribe a system? You can't, right?
Well, the thing is, okay, I might seem like I'm against this, but say there's a traffic officer, right?
Yeah.
We know our road rules, right? They say
Yeah.
that when you see a traffic officer, you ignore every other sign, but you follow what the officer tells you, right?
Yeah.
Now we have a robot in place. Let's say someone performs a traffic violation. How are we going to address that?
So
situation?
from what I saw, actually the whole system is what actually that it accommodates that. It's actually smart traffic light system to control probably the intersections, right? It actually have a capability of tracking, like checking violations on the intersections. For example, someone passes through a red traffic light. It's a violation, right?
So you're
So
saying,
the system actually seems like it actually accommodates that.
so how will offenders be punished? Like how? Because are they working with the Central Vehicle Registry? Will my license be penalized? How is this thing going to function?
So
Is it going to be tracking number plates? Is it going to be capturing faces? Like what exactly will it do? And also to be honest, like which specific challenges does it aim to resolve?
okay,
Right.
so
That's let's say we have electricity, right?
yeah,
Which problems does our current traffic lights?
like the problem that we currently have.
Yes,
that the system
we have
come in and chase.
exactly. We have current traffic lights, right?
Yeah.
So we give our current traffic lights power, right?
Yeah.
Like power, like they have power at all hours.
Yeah,
They're not going off or they're not dying. Let's say that they're functioning, right? And
Mhm.
everyone is obeying them.
Mhm.
What will this new traffic system do that these current robots, like traffic control lights, aren't
Yeah.
doing?
Yeah, you can actually call them robots.
It's traffic lights, yeah.
So actually, I checked the company that is saying that is actually going to provide the system. It's
Mhm.
actually called Tech-Tonic, and the company actually provides a number of solutions that include automated number plate recognition, average speed control, city toll system, and also intelligent toll system. Just to mention a few. So if they are going to bring the whole system, or if they are going to bring the system with all its capabilities, I don't know if it's a single system or there are different systems. I think then if we take the system, we look at Zimbabwean problems. First thing, there is disorder in traffic intersections, right? And if if you actually check, the whole disorder starts with someone decide not to abide with what the traffic light is saying. When the traffic light is saying stop, and someone just decide to go to pass. That's where the whole thing starts,
Yes,
right?
true.
If you pass a traffic light, a red traffic light, it's a violation, and the system will actually recognize that you have violated it, and it's a fine associated with that. That's another issue, a whole issue that has been addressed. I don't think you'll be willing to lose your mind just because you don't just want to follow a traffic light that says stop.
So I think I mentioned this in the other episode, is that technology in a vacuum doesn't work.
Yeah.
Technology needs support from actual human systems.
Yeah,
So we go back to the infrastructure. And to support what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
If you pass a red traffic light, that's a violation. Even in Ember one, it's a violation, right?
Yeah.
So how are these things going to be enforced? Like when I pass a red traffic violation. So all of those things have to be, we need to know how the system is going to operate and the supporting structures, basically. Because let's say they implement it, maybe at the end of the day it would be a waste of money because they implement it and these things are not enforced. But I am
By
actually
enforcing, that means there's the need for a human actor, right?
obviously there'll be human
There is,
actors.
yeah.
Obviously there'll be human actors, but I'm thinking that this thing, it can be, maybe there will be a phased rollout of the system, testing it in some areas and seeing how it actually works, in actually punishing people who basically do traffic violations. But I'm actually really looking forward to seeing this in action.
Yeah. Now that you mentioned that the need for human action, I think the whole issue of corruption won't be addressed. As long there's a person at the end, I said the corruption will happen. I don't think it will address the whole issue, but I think it will attack the conscience of some of the drivers. I don't think there's anyone. Actually, there might be some people who are willing to lose their money just because they can get away with the crime. But I don't think a lot of people in Zimbabwe, I don't think they are willing to commit a crime and with the belief that their money will save them.
Right.
Especially those kind of crimes where you just need to just stop and wait for time to go.
All right. So according to Tech-Zim, so they're saying they just gave a highlight of countries that they said tried this.
Yeah.
We have India, we have Nigeria, and Kenya. So they failed in all those countries.
That's
So-
depressing.
So
When you think it's actually bringing a solution and
they failed in those three countries. And Kenya and Nigeria, they're almost like us, and they failed. And they're facing the same problem. So the challenge is, Tech-Zim highlights, is inconsistent power supply, lack of maintenance, and public non-compliance, as I mentioned earlier.
I think.
And in India, the challenges were infrastructure as well, lack of enforcement, and high corruption. So this thing,
it's literally Zimbabwe. It's literally Zimbabwe expanded.
exactly.
Literally Zimbabwe expanded. So will we trade? I doubt.
Yeah, I mean.
I doubt.
Anyways, moving on to the next.
That's crazy. On another issue, I actually saw an invitation from the government of Zimbabwe, where it's headed invitation to participate in an evaluation of the crypto assets landscape in Zimbabwe. And when I read the whole thing, they were actually inviting like every stakeholder, like from the developers, the crypto developers, from traders, from miners, like literally every stakeholder within the crypto space. Like, and they were saying there's a form that you should fill, and actually it's more like they want to re-evaluate or evaluate, maybe or understand what the whole crypto thing is about. But if you check, like I think few months ago, the government once introduced, like once he inserted an embargo, like on everyone, like no trading in cryptocurrency, like no use of cryptocurrency within the Zimbabwe space. So is it a matter of, like, is it from what I just think when I saw this, is the government coming back like to essence, or like or are they just readdressing their fears? Or is it a matter of the change of maybe the minister of ICT, like she's reconsidering this, or she like what's the take on that?
I'm not mentioning any names. I would say that it's a good initiative in the positive direction, because this shows the government's willingness to basically understand crypto in Zimbabwe. Because we were heading crypto. Well, it's quite something, right? There are some economies that are fully embracing crypto, and this is a good initiative to actually say to the stakeholders, hey, we know that you guys are doing these things, you guys are trading in crypto, you guys are crypto developers, you are on the blockchain, you guys are active. We want to know more about this, so it can influence their reaction or what their stance on crypto going forward, which I think is a good thing. I think it's a step in the positive. From people who originally they were against this because they didn't understand. So now exactly. So now taking a stand into trying to find out like what's happening in the landscape, what's happening in the country. In regards to crypto,
And to be honest, there's a serious misconception of what the whole crypto is about. If you ask a random person right now what the whole crypto is about, people will just think it's about people stealing people's money.
Exactly.
So I think it's actually a good thing when the government comes to the people who are doing it, comes to the people who are developing within that space, comes to the people who are actually mining that thing, who are mining the cryptocurrency, whether it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, whatever it is, going to that people and asking what this thing is all about. Apparently, I didn't have time. I didn't manage to access the form and check what were they asking about, but I think it's a really good thing, and I'm behind it. I don't know how anyway.
Okay, so moving forward, so ZimSwitch is basically hosting a fintech symposium, right? It's a symposium on the 21st of June. We should attend this and cover this.
Definitely.
So they say that, according to TechZim again, they say that they want to get expert insights from the national switch. It's for networking, it's for collaboration, and basically I think all fintechs should attend this thing on the 21st.
So it would be more like a chance for everyone to showcase, like a chance for fintechs to showcase whatever they're producing. And I think it's a good thing.
So the national switch, right? I think it presents a lot of opportunities in payments basically. There's a lot that we can do. Well, you've traveled the world. You've seen a number of things. You've seen what other markets do, basically across banks. That's what ZimSwitch does for us. I think it would be interesting, and I would basically love to attend this one, and we'll cover this one once we attend it.
And apparently the deadline for registering is 14 June. So you have to register for you to attend it.
We can.
So I don't know. Our manager, Gerald with the J.
By the way, Gerald is in the studio, but he's behind the camera. Anyways, you hear him say something in the movie. So moving forward again, Apple's WWDC was concluded on Friday, but their main keynote was on Monday. It was quite interesting. They introduced the new iOS 18.
Literally for all the devices.
Exactly. And there's the macOS Sequoia. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. But anyways, macOS.
So sure though.
So in the intro it was quite interesting how they did it, but macOS Sequoia.
So the video,
the video is crazy, right?
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah. So I think the key things there was Apple Intelligence, which is funny because AI.
Actually, they branded their with AI.
and so there was Apple Intelligence, and they brought a calculator to the iPad, which is crazy. They updated Vision OS to 2. Yeah, so it's what are your takeaways? What was the
Actually, my
most interesting thing about
the most interesting
WWDC?
that I managed to note was the whole idea from uh, the partnership between Apple and OpenAI, where it seemed like the Siri that we used to use, it's actually coming with some sort of intelligence. But they made it a disclaimer there where they said, it sounded like a disclaimer to me, where they said, you'll be using Siri, right? But when it's time to switch to ChatGPT, or when Siri is about to use ChatGPT, or is about to something like that, when Siri is about to use ChatGPT, it will prompt you to know that it's about to go to use ChatGPT or some sort.
So,
and the whole other thing that amused me a little bit was the whole deal between Apple and OpenAI is actually for free. Like they're no monetary dues.
Apparently.
I couldn't believe that. I thought maybe one of those guys would be.
Yeah. So according to Bloomberg, again, they're saying that Apple is not paying OpenAI anything.
What is OpenAI benefiting from that?
So OpenAI is benefiting from being onboarded onto the Apple ecosystem. So they're saying that OpenAI basically will be on millions on Apple devices. They'll be on Macs. So I was checking the support. If you have an iPhone 15, going upwards. and an Apple MacBook that is running an M1 chip up to an M4 chip, you can use Apple Intelligence. So it means that any phone, like probably the iPhone 14s and below, they won't be able to use this because of computational limitations. And yeah.
Actually, and this other thing, actually the whole deal now start posing questions within a lot of people.
Yes,
and
true.
Maybe I'll start from, I saw what Elon Musk actually posted or on X. That's Twitter, right?
Nah, it's still Twitter to me.
So he actually said, if Apple integrates OpenAI at the OS level, then Apple devices will be banned at my companies. This is an unacceptable security violation. And visitors will have to check for their Apple devices at the door, where they will be stored in a Faraday cage. By the way, Faraday cage is like that's sort of a bag or some sort where you just put a device and it doesn't pick a network or some sort, right?
Yeah, it basically closes the device off, and so it's, I don't know. So Elon, right, is this person who says a lot of things. Obviously is a genius and everything.
Yeah.
But this is one of those instances where I don't agree with what he's saying. Why didn't he ban Pixel devices, Google devices that basically have Gemini on board?
So I think the whole Apple, like the whole set of Apple devices, I think they are associated with some sort of a security, where people believe that when you're using an iPhone, your data is safe.
Yeah, true. So what they did with this one, you saw the show. They were saying that you are not identified. Like OpenAI doesn't know that it's you. There's nothing that can link your prompts or your questions back to you as an individual.
But at the same time, they said if you have a premium, if you pay ChatGPT premium of some sort, right? That means you can actually log in and get more. Then how do you say you are not being identified? And at the same time, again, they were branding this whole AI thing as a sort of they were saying it's actually individual AI of some sort, like it's individual intelligence.
So from what I understood, right, Apple launched like Apple Intelligence, where they have their own. So like I said before, that this is being supported on iOS, not iOS. They are being supported on iPhone 15s, right?
Okay, yeah.
So some of these prompts are being executed at phone level, right? Your phone's hardware is basically going to be able to manage these prompts, right?
Yeah.
But when you feel like you have something that requires heavy computation, that when it goes to the Apple cloud.
So it's more like the Apple intelligence will just say that this thing is actually big for
exactly for the model that's on the phone,
Yeah.
and it will go to the cloud and it use Apple's models on the cloud. But for example, say it's not enough,
Yeah.
and you want to use ChatGPT,
Yeah.
so then you can then go ahead and use ChatGPT. But they're saying that, so if you have an account, obviously you have an account. It's like you using ChatGPT right now. You have an account, and it's not a security violation in that manner. So I think the whole thing, we also have to look at this a little bit further and follow the developments. And obviously we'll update you guys on like how the story is unfolding.
But
yeah.
before we leave that issue,
Yes.
you actually mentioned something when you said this is one of the things where you don't agree with Elon Musk. Then my mind just remembered something like I think a few months back, like Elon actually sued OpenAI, same out man, for actually there was some sort of AI, like the idea was AI was formed maybe on non-profit basis, like to for the betterment of the humanity, right? But it seems like they are now monetizing it of some sort, and he was against that whole idea. And this whole thing where now Apple is a relationship with OpenAI, I feel like whatever he wrote, it's being tried from someone who's angry. Like he's just reacting because there's OpenAI. Apparently.
So Gerald wants to say something.
Okay.
Shoot Gerald.
So you have to remember that Elon Musk has issues with OpenAI. It will not just be about the technology, but Elon Musk left AI whilst there were issues. He also wanted to be the CEO. He wanted also the bigger profit share of there. He also tried to attach OpenAI to Tesla, and it failed. So it could be tensions between the companies. They'll say, if I employ a technology that I left, they can use the same technology to attack what I have now. So it could not be about the technology, but it could be about the technology that I left is now accessing my company. Anything can happen.
But at the same.
So do you guys mean to say that employees at Tesla are not allowed to use ChatGPT?
According to the statement, it seems like he
doesn't allow that
to use it.
That's why and apparently there are a number of companies that don't allow that.
Yes.
Yeah, there are a number of companies that don't allow people to use ChatGPT.
What about Google Gemini?
I'm not sure. The last time I checked,
because we have to be honest and non-biased about these things. If you are banning ChatGPT, right? Because you're saying that implementation at the OS level, which pretty much seems like what's going on, because this ChatGPT is interfaced into the updated Siri, right? So Siri can communicate and can say, no, this might need to use a better model that's better than the Apple cloud. So we might need to ask ChatGPT and find out what ChatGPT. Anyways, so we have these models, right? And then we have Google Pixel devices that virtually run Gemini. Gemini is Google's artificial intelligence. Like it's part of the OS. It's embedded into the Pixel, and the Pixel's chip can. So they're saying that they can do some of these prompts like on board, like locally on the device, and then they will push some of the heavier prompts to the cloud as well. So if Apple devices are going to be put in a Faraday cage, Android devices should be too as well.
And I've just remembered, I saw somewhere where it was said, actually Apple was, if not probably before the WWDC day, they were already talking with Gemini, and it's more like they want to give users the option of either using ChatGPT, Gemini, and all those other models. Where Siri, when it comes to have load, you are choosing which one to use. Just like the same way you can use which either to use Bing or
true.
Google or on the browser. So I think I saw some where it was written that. So I don't know, maybe they're actually reacting to Elon Musk's issue, or that was already in their plan. I don't know.
So
it's something that we need to realize.
My other question is, so now we're going to have, so there aren't many iPhone 15s in the world, but I think going forward, those devices will increase. How is OpenAI going to pay for all that, like compute? Because whenever we are running prompts, whenever we are using the ChatGPT, that's server time, that's compute time. They need to make money somehow. How are they going to make money?
It's for the betterment of humanity.
It doesn't work that way, because how do you better humanity? It free of charge. How does that work? Because I understand that even the investors, they'd want to make money out of this, and also,
it feels like they are benefiting something out of the we using ChatGPT. Like that whole thing where it's been said, like nothing is for free. Like Facebook,
nothing is for free. Exactly.
All those apps that we use on daily basis, they are not for free.
Exactly.
Like they're benefiting something out of that.
We are paying with our data. We are paying with our data. That's the thing. Gerald.
So if you look back at the source of the funds for OpenAI, it never wanted to monetize this thing. It relies on grants and donations.
Okay.
You can see that in 2019, Microsoft invested $1 billion in OpenAI as a grant, and also they added $10 billion in 2023 as well.
Is this actual $10 billion or it's?
That contractual $10 billion. We'll just say that.
How do they basically avail it to OpenAI? Like, how do they do it? Because this is a lot of money. But anyways, it's quite interesting. Anyways, you can.
Actually, Microsoft is actually a stakeholder in OpenAI.
It's a
shareholder, not perfect.
It's a shareholder. Thank you.
A stakeholder who is a shareholder.
Yeah, all shareholders are stakeholders.
So, an interesting point also to note that the organization like AWS, which were among the first companies to fund OpenAI, it set up a virtual, what we call virtual gyms for OpenAI developers and the clients, and it's so that they can run their AI solutions through the test runs. It's like sort of virtual. So it's through all those grants and donations that has allowed them to continue building those powerful models.
To be honest, I've got an issue with the whole AI thing, especially where I have an issue with something that will tell me what I want. Like, I give you data, you give me back the results. You know what I'm saying? Like, basing on what I tell you, that's when I ask you anything, that's what you give me back. Like, I have an issue that I think we'll talk it on another podcast, but I have an issue with all these models.
Okay. So thank you everyone. That's a wrap on this week's episode. So on the next one, we'll be looking at AI, diving deeper into Apple Intelligence, looking at Google Gemini, and looking at the smart traffic lights that you mentioned earlier. We'll be diving deeper into these topics and
give you updates.
We'll be giving you updates.
When are these things coming?
Exactly.
I can't wait for smart traffic lights.
Exactly. So smart traffic lights, Apple Intelligence, and a bunch of other things concerning AI. So thank you for catching up.
See you on the next episode.
See you on the next episode.